Another very pertinent point regarding piano technique revolves around a very serious code word called legato. Legato, of course, is defined as playing in a smooth, connected manner. It's an Italian word, and if you've ever been around music, you'll see the indication in all your scores. So to play legato means to bind the notes, literally. And what it refers to is to play in a way that you imitate vocal quality. So in other words, your capacity to sing at the instrument. But notice that the nature of the piano is such that once you strike a note, hammer strikes the string and you get a tone. And then when you play the next note, the cycle repeats. So it's one impact followed by another impact. One hammer striking one string, another hammer striking the next string, and so on. But never in fact do the tones actually blend together in the manner of a wind instrument like an organ, or as a singer might do. This quality of one impact following another is the definition of a percussion instrument. And that is why it's good to remember that the piano is classified, in fact, as a percussion instrument, alongside the drums or the xylophones and such. And this is very important to keep in mind, because when we do want to achieve the legato effect, we have to remember that the holding down of the key by the finger does not affect the tone in any way. In other words, no matter how much, after I've struck the note, no matter how much I depress the key or put force, effort into the key, it won't affect the sound. And so that effort applied after is wasted energy. And we talked about this in the first discussion regarding pushing down on the keys. But in any case, achieving a singing quality at the piano is best achieved by careful gradation of the tone. So in other words, if you play this note at a certain volume level and you can attenuate the next note, you can achieve that semblance of connection. And like I prefaced at the beginning of this segment, where Chopin once famously said that the soul of the piano is the pedal, the pedal is the source that we should, the resource that we should fully utilize in order to achieve a singing effect at the piano. Okay, so the point being that however we play it, we need to keep in mind that the piano is in fact a percussion instrument, and that by holding the fingers down physically is not the optimum way to achieve legato. And this misunderstanding has caused great confusion, havoc, and quite frankly a lot of injuries down through the years. As my friend and teacher Mario Fenninger said, that legato has killed more pianists than you can ever imagine. Why? Because the physical act of holding the keys down in order to achieve this legato effect, it might work at a slower tempo where you have the time and the luxury to hold the keys down. But if you're going at a moderate clipped pace or tempo, it just becomes impossible to do. The point being, we want to free up our hands and not be bogged down in adventure where it doesn't affect the tone anyway. The pedal, used properly, will free up our hands. Stated another way, the pedal will cover all manner of sins. If we realize how to use the pedal to cover lifts, gaps, breaks in the sound, and intelligently cover those gaps with the pedal, then you've achieved the effect. I'd like to refer to a book that is really excellent. I forgot the name of the author, but the title of the book was Chopin as Pianist and Teacher. In that book you'll find that Chopin annotated in some of his students' scores, in his own hand, in pencil, markings of, let's say, a Chopin nocturne, where he'll write the fingering as 3, 3, 3. Alright, so that is to say that the same finger is used on 3 successive notes. Now we like to accord Chopin, whatever else his greatness as a composer, but he was one of the first to really advocate this quality of legato, cantabile melodies in his works, right? So if anyone was an authority regarding legato, it was Chopin. And if he advocates a 3-3-3 fingering in scores, and you'll see it if you get that book. But the point is that there is no way possible that you can achieve a legato effect with the fingers playing the same finger on 3 different notes. That'll be very difficult, nearly impossible. So I think the point is that even such an authority as Chopin on the matter of legato was advocating use of the pedal to cleverly disguise these changes of fingering instead of getting bogged down by trying to physically connect the tones with the fingers. Finally, just consider what a liberating effect this can have upon the hands. If we weren't bound by having to physically connect the tones by the fingers, but that you could be free because the pedal will cover all of the gaps and lifts in your playing, imagine what a liberating feeling and reality that would be. Okay, so to sum up, on this discussion of legato, what I'm advocating is that in order to achieve a legato effect, we don't need to actually physically connect the tones with the fingers. It's not a visual thing for the hands to physically connect the notes. It's a aural, A-U-R-A-L, illusion. It's a trick we can play on the ear by way of careful gradation of the tones and also intelligent use of the pedal. And this has an enormous liberating effect to our technique because you're not bogged down again. Alright, so we'll see further examples of this in future segments, and I hope this was helpful.